Texas Dad. This is my son Matt. For all you new subscribers, which our subscribers continue to shrink, but there's probably some new ones on there.
Yeah.
But we wanted to share an article with you. And the first thing I always want to remind everyone that this is a comedy show. Okay,
Yeah.
we do not deliver the news, so we do like to have fun and laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
And this is not going to be breaking news. Okay, so
No.
you may or may not have already seen this, and the link to the article we're going to be reviewing is down below. This is coming from the prestigious Ivy Leagues of academia, and it's really making. And if you look at my shirt, which we put on the thumbnail, it's making this more and more prophetic as the days go by. The first thing I want to start out by doing is I do want to read some quotes from George Orwell's 1984 in reference to Newspeak, because I think that's basically summing up the topic of what we're going to be talking about. This is from the book 1984. Newspeak is the only language in the world whose vocabulary gets smaller every year. And the reason I want to delineate these quotes from the book is because as we're going through this Stanford article, you are going to see the implementation of what is being done. And it is absolutely Newspeak. And it is absolutely mind control. It's wizardry. It's mind control. It's sophistry. It's Jesuitical sophistry. And sophistry isn't new. Double speak and mental reservation and all these different things are interwoven in here. None of that stuff is new, but it's fully weaponized and it's in your face and it's being done by the oligarchy and the they, them, those, and the technocrats and the Gubermans of the world. This isn't just an American thing. We are all across the planet. We're being just abused and disabused by all of this. And let me see here. It was terribly dangerous to let your thoughts wander when you were in any public place or within range of the telescreen. The smallest thing could give you away. A nervous tick, an unconscious of anxiety, a habit of muttering to yourself, anything that carried the suggestion of abnormality, of having something to hide. In any case, to wear an improper expression on your face, to look incredulous when a victory was announced, for example, was itself a punishable offense. There was even a word for it in Newspeak. Face crime. It was called. It's kind of almost like if you had some guy in a jogging suit from the Ukraine come and speak to your Congress, and then when you had these psycho liberals say, "Who didn't clap?" They they did a hand crime by not clapping. I mean, it's the same thing. We need a list of who didn't clap. For Vladimir Zobolinski, whatever his name is now. They've changed the spelling of his name, by the way, in real time. Okay. Oceanic society rests ultimately on the belief that Big Brother is omnipotent and that the party is infallible. But since in reality Big Brother is not omnipotent and the party is not infallible, there is a need for an unwavering moment-to-moment flexibility in the treatment of facts. The key word here is black-white. Like so many Newspeak words, this word has two mutually contradictory meanings. Applied to an opponent, it means the habit of impudently claiming that black is white, in contradiction of the plain facts. Applied to a party member, it means a loyal willingness to say that black is white when party discipline demands this. But it means also the ability to believe that black is white and more. To know that black is white and to forget that one has ever believed the contrary. Wow, that sounds like the law of mental reservation to me. That sounds very Jesuitical to me, y'all. To do anything that suggested a taste for solitude. Oh, no, I got a better quote on that lower, I'm sorry. Let me go down here. The mind should develop a blind spot whenever a dangerous thought presented itself. The process should be automatic, instinctive, crime stop, they called it in Newspeak. Okay, let me see. There was two more here.
That was the...
In principle, a party member had no spare time and was never alone except in bed. It was assumed that when he was not working, eating, or sleeping, he would be taking part in some kind of communal recreations. To do anything that suggested a taste for solitude, even to go for a walk by yourself, was always slightly dangerous. There was a word for it in Newspeak. Own life, it was called, meaning individualism and centricity. Two more here. Yeah, here. It was intended that when Newspeak had been adopted once and for all, and Old Speak forgotten, a heretical thought, should be literally unthinkable, at least so as far as thought is dependent on words. Don't you see that the whole aim of Newspeak is to narrow the range of thought? In the end, we shall make thought crime literally impossible, because there will be no words in which to express it. It isn't only the synonyms. There are also antonyms. After all, what justification is there for a word which is simply the opposite of some other word? A word contains its opposite in itself. Take good, for instance. If you have a word like good, what need is there for a word like bad? Ungood will do just as well. Better, because it's an exact opposite, which the other is not. Or again, if you want a stronger version of good, what sense is there in having a whole string of vague, useless words like excellent and splendid, and all the rest of them? Plus good covers the meaning, or double plus good. If you want something stronger still, of course we use those forms already, but in the final version of Newspeak, there will be nothing else. In the end, the whole notion of goodness and badness will be covered by only 6 words. In reality, only 1 word. Don't you see the beauty of that, Winston? It was BB's idea originally, of course. He added as an afterthought. So we're seeing Newspeak was designed not to extend but to diminish the range of thought, and this purpose was indirectly assisted by cutting the choice of words down to a minimum. In Newspeak, there is no word for science, the empirical method of thought on which all the scientific achievements of the past were founded, is opposed to the most fundamental principles of ingsoc. Yeah, now we don't have science. Now we don't have empirical method. We have scientism. We have religion. We have the religion of the worship of the idea of science, but there is no empirical method. So let's get into this article here. How's everybody doing tonight? We are broadcasting live on TheMTube and Rumble. So we want to welcome everybody on YouTube, and we also want to welcome everybody on Rumble. Thanks for hanging out with us. And
let's get into this. This is going to be the craziest part.
This is pretty crazy, and this is literally, dystopias fiction in real time. And what this is, okay, if you hear a noise, like a whining, ringing siren kind of noise and a flashing red light, this is why you should not send your children or yourself to any institute of higher learning, because it's a cesspool of brainwashing, psychobabble, woke, critical theory, critical race theory, critical text, higher lower criticism, all criticism.
Yeah.
This is the epitome embodiment of postmodern post-truthism exclusively. And how do you get into a postmodern post-truth world? You change the definitions of the words. Or just, we need to get rid of these words. These words are dangerous. Content warning. Oh, sorry, folks. Sorry. I need to issue content warning. This website contains language that is offensive or harmful. Please engage with this website at your own pace. Snowflakes.
Oh, because they're warning you because they're going to say the harmful
They're
word.
going to say scary words.
And then they're going to show
But then they're going to tell you how to
it.
properly say the scary
Context.
words so that snowflakes don't melt in your presence.
Elimination of
and
harmful language.
Karens and,
Intivation.
rainbow-haired transhumanists don't screech when you use old speak. When the useful idiots and the pawns of the Ouroboros to eat itself, and they will consume themselves.
All right, let's get started.
Eventually, their definition will change. Just like because it's fluid, the genders and the definitions are fluid, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so listen. So I just want to educate y'all because all you stupid all you old speakers and all y'all that haven't been like higher educated in the ivory towers of whatchamacallit. And we talk at the same time, we interrupt each other.
That's what we do.
This is what we do. I'm his dad, he's my son. This is what we do in our house. It bothers and annoys some people. It's a sign of affection, not a disrespect. No. And this is just what we do. And I understand why some people don't like it, and so if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. We can't please everybody.
That's true.
Instead of saying addict, consider using. See, and it's so gross and it's so effeminate and so emotional. Mm-hmm. Instead of addict, consider. We can't say it. Won't say use because that's too dogmatic.
That's scary.
Right. That's too masculine. It's too forward. You have to be all ushy, gushy.
Well, then,
consider.
Could you still use it then if they're saying consider it?
No, because even though they'll say it in an effeminate, disgusting manner, if you don't do what they tell you to do,
they'll lock you up.
They'll flame out on you.
Ah, true.
Because they'll flame out and screech, and then they'll cancel culture you. Mm. Consider using person with a substance use disorder. So instead of taking a one word that is very distinctive,
saying you're an addict,
say
it should be like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words.
You're a person with a substance
you're
use
a person
disorder.
with a substance use disorder. And if you want to psychoanalyze every one of these words, you could always say, well, then you can't say a person with a substance. And they will. Mm-hmm. As the years go on, they will continue to redefine. And they will eventually sound like knuckle-dragging gorillas going, ugh, good, super good, not good, ungood.
Pretty much.
It's like...
They want us to return to like the Stone Age or something.
Using person first, and see if you haven't been exposed to the mental stupefying speak of this person first stuff, because you can't be gender specific, because that was before this article. When you had to do all this linguistical gymnastics and defy history and defy all the languages that had gender.
Now, what they should do is they should say like something with a substance use disorder instead of person.
Well, they don't want to, I mean, if you're fluid, who's to say you even are a person?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
What if you're a dog?
Yeah. What if you're a dog-faced pony soldier?
Exactly.
Using person first language, and you can't. They had to first off, person first. It's hyphenated. That is absolutely a brand new word that never existed before. All right, using person first language. That is a new word.
So if we skip down, it says so instead of using crazy, we should use surprising or wild.
Instead of using addicted, you should use devoted. Nothing says addicted better than devoted. Word. Talk about redefining.
Dude, you are so devoted to that.
You're so devoted to that heroin. That is admirable, friend.
Speaking of that, guess what I saw in the back of somebody's truck today?
What did you see?
It said, shoot your local heroin dealer. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. We do not promote violence here.
Nope. This is a comedy show, y'all.
This is a comedy show. Blind review. Consider using anonymous review. And then they gotta explain it. You gotta explain it to do. Unintentionally perpetuates that disability is somehow abnormal or negative, furthering an ableist culture. Ableist, by the way, is a new word.
Ableist. I've never heard that one.
Oh yeah.
What does that even mean?
What's ableist? Okay,
here it is.
I'm going to educate you.
It's right there.
Ableist language is language that is offensive to people who live with disabilities and or devalues people who live with disabilities. The unintentional use of such terms furthers the belief that people who live with disabilities are abnormal. Now that statement is absolutely false. Many of us have all different kinds of disabilities, whether it's dyslexia, whether it's different kind of learning disabilities, whether it's some type of abnormality or handicap, something we were born with.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the shoulder of an 80-year-old. I'm not completely disabled in my left shoulder, but relatively speaking, my sister was born with cerebral palsy. Right? And so she has all the different challenges that come with that. And I grew up with her, and I absolutely know how and what she thinks and feels about it. She doesn't look at anybody with that would use the word disability, doesn't look at it in a negative fashion or anything like that. This is completely Reconstructionist.
Oh yeah.
And this is so. If any of y'all have ever heard the term postmodern, this is absolutely and completely is the embodiment of what postmodern thought is. Because how you become postmodern is you destroy and reconstruct history in whatever fashion. And have you ever heard the term the winners rewrite history? If we will allow these woke dopes, these postmodern, post-truth, critical theory, critical race theory, critical text, higher, lower criticism, if we allow these woke losers, you want to know why Christianity is going woke? Higher, lower criticism. That's why. Critical text. That's why. That's why. That's why all of a sudden all these denominations are going woke, because this all happened, Frankfurt School, this all happened in the 1800s, y'all. This is coming, this is the fruit. This is the fruit of the ivory towers, okay? And this is the fruit of bowing and worshiping. And this is how the educational industrial complex has been weaponized with the $1 trillion student loan bubble. This is it. And anybody that continues to participate in that is an idiot. And I'm sure the word idiot's on here somewhere.
No, it is.
And,
it's
and I love using the word idiot.
No. The word idiot is boring person.
Right. And the word retard's on here, and that's why I enjoy using that too. Because nobody uses the word retard as a derogatory slang. Now, I know emotional people want to emotionalize it and make it bad, and that was never the case. This is a concept that is continuing to evolve, and those that want to melt and get all distorted and distraught, and we've talked about this before on the channel, and that's why we use it. And guess what? We have intellectually deficient people in our family that are family members that we love, and when we use the term retard, because see, the other thing about the term retard is, well, he's retarding himself. You're restraining, you're holding yourself back. It doesn't have some kind of exclusive definition. All right? And that's like with any word.
That's true.
They don't have this exclusive definition. And what you have to do is on purpose. You have to already be offended, and you're just waiting to spark off because you are so fragile, you are so emotional, and you're so emasculated, and you're so effeminate, and you're so offended, you're in a perpetual state of offense. You just want to melt. You just want to melt. Okay?
One of them's committed suicide, died by suicide. What?
You can't say that you committed suicide.
Oh
You
God.
have to say died by suicide. Ableist language that trivializes the experience of people
Ableist.
living with mental health conditions. Okay,
Oh my God.
first off, if you say somebody committed suicide, okay, and this is terrible and tragic, and it's very common.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
terrible.
ever since the lockdowns,
Yeah, it's super
that
terrible.
that the oligarchs and the technocrats have imposed on society, suicides through the roof. Same thing with all these transhumanist people that try to flip flop, swip swap. You know, and they think
Every
they can
week.
swip swap.
Yeah.
You know, just like Michael Scott, and it doesn't work, right? Okay, and so I am not making light of people that committed
No,
suicide. But
absolutely not.
here's the thing: if they committed suicide, they're already dead. We can't offend them.
No.
So
Not
it's
really.
it's this hierarchical structure of deconstruction.
Yeah.
Confined to a wheelchair is a person who uses a wheelchair. Using person-first language helps to not define people by just one of their characteristics. Also, users of wheelchairs often find them to be an essential tool for their freedom instead of thinking of them as a prison. And it's done in a way. It's such sophistry, and it's so
Oh my
satanic.
word. Look at this. So crazy and insane have the same words, surprising and wild.
Right, because you're shrinking the vocabulary,
So,
you're stupefying it.
How in the world would you know if I said, "Wow, you are surprising"? How would you know if I'm calling you insane or crazy?
You wouldn't. It's this
Then how would you be more offended?
it's
then?
this Pollyanna ableist
Oh my Lord.
language that trivializes the experiences of people living with mental health conditions. When you call somebody, like, you'll say that to you, man, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Like, you're not trivializing. You're
No.
using it as an expression.
Yeah, normally in a good way. Normally, of course,
Dumb.
good.
You can't say dumb. You have to say non-vocal, non-verbal. And here, the reason that this stuff is real important, this is how they're going to continue. They're going to continue to weaponize social media. You're not going to be able to use any of these words, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to be able to say crazy. You're not going to be able to say dumb. Now, you are going to be able to say it if you're a liberal, psychotic, leftist,
Oh, yeah.
transhumanist. You're going to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to use that. All those weaponized words are
100%.
going to be in their arsenal. But if you're just trying to have a dialogue and be expressive, you can't do that.
Lame, boring, or uncool.
Lame.
Is that like the same as?
Dude, that's so lame. Nobody... I can't take it.
So-
Mentally ill. Okay, what? This article is exclusively mentally ill. The
Oh, it
reason they
is,
want to extract the word mentally ill from our
Because
language is because
that
the person that wrote this soup slop, this psychobabble, psychotic postmodern post-truth slop, drivel, is absolutely mentally ill.
Oh yeah.
Person living with a mental health condition. Wow, that way to summarize it. Way to take 2 words and turn it into
Like
8 words.
Yeah, 8. Yeah. OCD.
OCD.
Oh my
Detail oriented. You can't. People all the time. They
So much.
label themselves
OCD.
as OCD. Oh man, I'm so OCD, and somehow that's offending somebody. That's insane. Obsessive compulsive disorder is what OCD stands for, and so many people call themselves obsessive compulsive, and we all have these different tendencies. This is such newspeak. This is postmodern.
It hurts
this
my
is,
brain.
This is the weaponization and the stupefaction of language. I am incredulous that somebody took the time to make this list. Retard. Noun. Retard. Noun.
Okay, now.
Person with a cognitive disability. Person with autism. Neurodivergent. There's a new one, y'all. Neurodivergent person. Now look, nobody uses the term retarded to reference someone with a cognitive disability, someone with autism.
Well, that's retard. but then there's retarded
Right.
on there.
But nobody uses the word retard or retarded
Oh, no.
to reference anybody like
Absolutely not. That would be very disrespectful.
that. Yeah, of course. And
Yeah,
nobody
you would never ever
nobody
say
does
to
that.
somebody like that.
This term is a slur against those who are neurodivergent or have a cognitive disability. It is not, and it was never used that way.
No.
And the word has multiple definitions, and it's
True.
not exclusively associated with cognitive disability. Hey, here's another one. Is
Oh, is up here more?
no, maybe not. It's probably further. Okay, hold on.
Oh.
We'll get into
Well-
it. Sanity check. Yeah, well, don't have a sanity check because we live in clown world. So don't try to have any sanity.
No.
Check this out. Confidence check. Coherence check. Fact check. Oh, make sure it has a. You don't need a sanity check. You need a blue check mark.
Yep, fact check.
You need a fact check.
You
Fact
do.
checker. You need to Google it and make sure that it's got a blue check mark. Maybe you could buy a blue check mark from Elon Musk. I don't know. Spaz. Clumsy. A spaz.
No.
Ableist language that trivializes the experiences of people living with disabilities.
Why is it all disability?
That is because they're trying to redefine the context. They're telling you what the context is, and they're extracting the word. They are providing no context, no sentence. Like in a dictionary, like a Webster's 1828 dictionary, like it gives you the word, it gives you the multiple definitions, and then it gives you the word in context. And according to the context, the definition changes. Every word doesn't mean the same thing if the context changes. But they're saying that the word exclusively has one definition, and that is in the English language or in any language. That has never been the case, ever. Tone deaf, unenlightened. Once again, they're going to take the term, the colloquialism of tone deaf, and they're going to say that you're disparaging someone that's disabled. It has nothing to do with that.
Whack.
It's never had anything to do with that. In context, it's never had anything to do with that. It's a weaponization of the language. What they're doing is they're taking benign terms that are very common vernacular, and they're making them caustic and degrading it. And in context, the context is what gives you the definition.
Yeah.
And they're taking them out of context and they're redefining them, and it is so. Now, when I say that this is mentally retarded, this is literally mentally retarded. What they're doing is like, it's insane.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy. They're spaz. They're exclusively tone deaf to culture, to reality, to history.
Yeah.
They are. This is nuts. This is psychotic. This is mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
This is, relatively speaking, 50% of the words that are on the list.
Yeah.
Ageism. Ageist. New word. That word's less than 20 years old. Ageism and ageist language singles out a person based on their age instead of their qualifications. Oh, so you're taking away the context. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see here. Graybeard. The person's name. It calls out an older and presumably more experienced. This article is referencing their IT department. That's why it says IT or cybersecurity. Oh. But it's interesting. It calls out an older and presumably more experienced person. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with acknowledging that somebody, the gray of the hair and the beard is an indication of wisdom just because of experience and length of life in these different things. Yeah. Calling somebody a gray beard is certainly not a derogatory statement. Senile. Consider using Joe Biden. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It says, consider using person suffering from senility. This term is often used disparagingly. to refer to older people whose mental faculties appear to be in decline. Well, now that is accurate context. Senile. But, okay, listen, y'all. Instead of senile, consider using person suffering from senility. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to condense, instead of saying person suffering from senility, I have a way to condense that.
Okay.
And the word is called senile.
No way.
Or Joe Biden. Whichever one. Or Bo Jiden.
Bo Jiden.
This stuff is so crazy, y'all. It's that I accidentally skipped back to the beginning.
Skip back to the beginning.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's go. This one is wild. Okay.
Oh my
So
word.
this is all part of postmodern, colonialism. Colonialism is the policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country. Many of us white Anglo-Saxon Americans are perpetual. Y'all, if you're on social media, I can't even tell you how many times that we are verbally abused in the comments section about being empirical colonialists and how we stole our land from the Native Americans.
Oh my God.
Fact check, I absolutely wasn't here, and neither is the person accusing me of colonialism.
No.
They weren't here when it happened either. And I don't have a lot of control over the past.
No, not really.
I only can control what I do. Something for the victims to think about. Something for the victims and the victim mentality to think about. Victim mentality, they don't like thinking about the consequences of their actions. Everything in their life has to be the result of someone else's actions. This way they don't have any personal responsibility. They have no autonomy. They have only blame to give, and they're only looking for a handout. And they're not looking for a hand up. They're not looking for help. They're looking to steal via the state, right? And all of this colonialism, this weaponizes that and enables this reappropriation. Taking control over another country, occupying it with settlers, and exploiting it economically. It is better to avoid terms that derive from colonialism. So check this out. Instead of Philippine Islands, consider using Philippines or the Republic of the Philippines. What is the difference between Philippine Islands and Philippines or the Republic of the Philippines? There is absolutely there is no difference. The term is politically incorrect. Oh, political correctness.
Beautiful.
Cultural Marxism, right? Fascism. The term is politically incorrect and denotes colonialism. How does the term Philippine Islands denote colonialism? Some people of Filipino heritage might use the term, though. Oh, that's interesting. This is such a mental. This is pure sophistry, nuts. Here we go. Instead of brave, consider using none. Dude. This term, remember the baseball team? What are they called now, anyway?
Ooh, ouch.
And how many people still participate in the sports industrial complex that is just a psychological operation by the alphabet soup, and they've been getting, and the military industrial complex, and they've been getting billions of dollars to fly the jets over, and I pledge allegiance to the flag, and they've been socially manipulating us, right? And they drag out the military. I wonder what they've been doing for the war in Ukraine and all that stuff. And whether it's American baseball, whatever happened to the Atlanta Braves? Oh, whatever happened to them? I've stopped following the sports industrial complex, so I'm unaware of. I am absolutely sure. I know that the Washington Redskins, I'm pretty sure they changed their name.
Wow.
Because you can't do or say that, obviously, you know.
Daggum.
So, brave, do not use. This term perpetuates the stereotype of the noble, courageous, savage. Now, noble and courageous are two very positive terms.
Yeah.
How are they interjecting this? This is all mind control is what they're doing. Because they're inserting this term savage into the context that doesn't exist, by the way, because there's not a sentence. Equating the indigenous male as being less than human. So they take a very positive word like brave and they do all this syntactical gymnastics to a word that is not in a sentence. And they claim that all of these things are psychologically imposed on this word, which is completely false. It's just bury the hatchet, call for peace, call for truce. Because, you know, this historical fact about burying the hatchet, using the term is cultural appropriation of the centuries-old tradition among some Northern American indigenous peoples who buried their tools of war as a symbol of peace. So, it's so insane. I'm not even trying to talk to this.
No.
Okay, Chief. Which I always thought that was weird. A lot of Pacific Northwest people, well, sometimes they'll go, okay, boss. And they'll always call you boss or chief. That was always something like that.
Interesting.
But chief is not just an indigenous person, all right?
No.
The chief, chief is also a rank in the military, right? Am I right about that? But they're exclusively, station chief, engine chief. There's all these different...
Yeah.
And that was a position that had nothing to do with indigenous persons. Once again, there's more than one definition to this word. And to claim that it's culturally appropriative is insane. Geronimo. Can't say Geronimo. Guru. Expert.
What?
Subject matter expert. Primary, leader, teacher, guide. Can't say guru. In the Buddhist and Hindu traditions, the word is a sign of respect. Using it casually negates its original value. This is some insane stuff.
Look at that one.
Low man on the totem pole. I don't know how much we want to do. We want to just continue. This is so insane. Y'all, I'm not even getting into the gender-based stuff. I will not do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Guys, folk.
How about all these used guys people?
Yeah, guys, you can't say
that.
Yeah,
what about all the used guys? Hey, used guys. What about all the
Folks,
Northeast
people,
and the northern? Like I think you have to get almost to the Midwest before they stop.
It says okay.
Hey,
for
you guys,
ladies, it's everyone.
Ladies, even if you're talking to a group of ladies,
like everyone, come over here.
Lumps weird. A group of people using binary language that doesn't include everyone. What if you don't want to include everyone?
Ooh.
Hey, ladies, all the ladies get a discount. All the ladies can go first. What? There's reasons to be specific.
Okay. If you said everyone go first.
Specificity.
Yeah.
Remember when it used to be women and children first, but now you just everybody into the life rafts. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
He. Don't use the term he. Use the person's name or use they.
Well, and it's the same thing with gentlemen. Everyone. Ladies and gentlemen is everyone.
Yeah.
So,
because once again, it is the stupefaction of language, and it is less specific, and it's completely out of context, and it destroys the context, and it makes it so that there isn't a context. It was just like the quote of Newspeak. It's the thought crime. Eventually, the thought crime will never take place because there will be no words to describe it. Do you see that this is exactly...
Yeah, it's literally...
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is doing. Landlord or landlady. Property owner. lumps a group of people using gender binary language, which does not include everyone. Because eventually, you'll own nothing and be happy. So you have to include everyone, because ownership, and you know why? You know why ownership must be dissolved? It's because it's all been culturally appropriated.
Look at that. Mankind. People, humankind, human beings.
I very much love the word mankind. It is very descriptive.
It says, look, man-made. Made by hands.
Male-dominated language.
Manpower. Workforce. Staffing. Staff. Resources. Person.
Policeman. Policeman. Policewoman. Policewomen. Police officers. Oh, man.
So if there's like a... Oh, so I would just say police officer. Police officer, come here.
She. Person's name or they. They went in... They used to mean more than one. So let's say you're trying to describe what happened. Well, she broke into the room there.
Or whatever, yeah.
Well, they broke into... Well, she is so specific. They broke into the bank. Who?
How many of they were there?
There was 5 of them. I don't know. I don't know how many people they identify as.
Yeah, I know.
Legion broke into the bank. These people have legion. These people have legion. You guys, folks, people, everyone. Lumps a group of people using masculine language and or into gender binary groups, which don't include everyone. Which don't include everyone, or which doesn't include everyone. Man. Well, that when you stupefy the language, you have stupid stuff like that.
Which don't.
Precise language. Abort.
Cancel end.
Cancel end. This term can unintentionally raise religious or moral concerns over abortion. If you abort is not exclusively talking about an abortion. There's a trillion abort mission, abort this, abort that.
Yeah.
You know, abort the water from the hose or what. I mean, it's stupid. It's the stupid. Hey, check. Instead of American, U.S. citizen. This term often refers to people from the United States only. Thereby insinuating that the U.S. is the most important country in the Americas, which are actually made up of 42 countries. Now look, America, the U.S. is the most important country to me. That's where I live.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm American.
That's how we get around it right now.
Scary. Yeah, and I'm American anyway, so I don't even use the word American because I'm American, all right?
I'm American.
This is some wild stuff, y'all. Check this out, y'all. Hispanic, Latinx, use country of origin. Although widely used to describe people from Spanish-speaking countries outside of Spain, its roots lie in Spain's colonialization of South American countries. So it wasn't just white people that did that. Okay, that's cool. That's good history. That's good to know. Instead of referring to someone as Hispanic because of their name or appearance, ask them how they identify themselves first. Because, that doesn't convolute things. And people won't look at you like you're retarded or something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Karen, demanding or entitled white woman.
Whoa, talk about a something.
Yeah, for real.
Who's to say that Karen is white? And a woman. First off.
I don't even know.
First off, that's violence to Karen. Okay? Yeah. You assumed Karen's gender.
Yeah.
And you assumed
her color.
That is hateful.
It should have been
Stanford
entitled person.
University.
Yeah. We should sue them.
Heavily admonish you for your ugly, distasteful language. You assumed that Karen was a woman.
Yeah.
Which is not inclusive.
No.
And you entitled her as being white when she could have been they of many colors.
Yeah, of course.
They could have been any color.
All colors. She could be
They could be.
They could be all colors.
And then they try to rewrite history, like stuff like peanut gallery, audience, hecklers, or critics. This term refers to the cheapest and worst section in theaters where many black people sat during the vaudeville era.
Oh my word.
Dude, they've had the peanut gallery and peanut baseball games and all that. They're rewriting stuff.
Come on.
People of color. See, now, that was a whole new terminology. The people of color.
Yeah.
You know, it was colored people. That was offensive. Then it was black people. Then it's people of color because, you know, there's all different shades. And there is. Now,
true.
Hey, now, y'all. Now it's BIPOC.
BIPOC.
Black, indigenous, and people of color. So now, you're just lumping everybody BIPOC. And you created a new acronym.
Yeah.
And that's what the world needs. The world needs one more acronym.
Yeah.
How long have we been? This gets crazier and sadder the longer we go. We're gonna keep this
within an hour probably.
Do you want to keep?
Well, if we can scroll through maybe.
Well, we have some institutionalized racism.
Ooh,
I'm sure
go.
many of you are completely unfamiliar with institutionalized racism, unless you're white. Now, if you're white, you are exclusively racist,
of course,
because that's just
birth.
You were born that way. Yeah. Regardless of your transhumanism or however you identify, you're exclusively racist because you're institutionalized that way. So it's not your fault, but you should still feel a lot of guilt about it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying barrio, which I've heard that term used 40 years ago, specific name of neighborhood, and I know that's definitely like a New York thing, that in like New York City, I've heard New Yorkers use that term. Probably more like city folks, older city folks using that term. The term indicates any socially segregated, non-white neighborhood. You know, just like the ghettos when they stacked them high and deep, to control them and manipulate them. Don't use that barrio thing because they're bringing it back. They're bringing back the barrio. Black hat. Instead of black hat, consider using malicious, criminal, unethical hacker. Assigns negative connotations to the color black. So if you use the term black, it's got to exclusively be a derogative term, and the color black never existed, and the color black as a color doesn't exist because it's institutionally racial, and it has to refer indirectly to somebody's skin color, just like black sheep. No, look, there were predominantly white sheep, right?
Yeah.
And if a flock had a black sheep, it was an abnormality. That was a naturally occurring abnormality. You can't say that term holds any type of institutionalized racism in it, because it was a naturally occurring event that naturally occurred without any white people being involved to make it have any institutionalized racist connotations. Unreal. Blackballed. Black box. Black box, y'all. Black box. You know why they called it a black box? You know why they called it a black box? Because it was a black...
No way.
Box.
No way. That's too simple.
The little airplane flight recorder things.
I've never been in an airplane.
Some of them are gray. But a lot of them started out, they were painted black, whether it was the fire retardant, whatever. They were painted black. That's why they were called black box. Same thing with blackballed. If you look up the etymology of blackballed, same thing as black box, same thing as blacklisted. It had nothing to do with anybody's color. Period.
Cakewalk. Easy, simple.
Brown bag. Brown bag. Lunch and learn. Tech talk. Historically associated with brown paper bag test. That certain blacks are already... No,
What?
brown. Look, I was born in 75. And there used to be, and there still are, brown paper bags.
Yeah.
Okay? And so when you used to go to the grocery store, you'd get your groceries in a brown paper bag. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, if you didn't have one of the fancy Scooby-Doo lunch boxes, right, your mom would pack, when you were getting sent off to the government propaganda camp, Mama, you got my lunch. Here, son, it's in this brown paper bag. Or when you'd go off to your job, right, mm-hmm. and you would take your brown paper bag with your lunch in it. It's called a brown bag. That color brown has absolutely nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with some brown paper bag test that certain black sororities and fraternities use to judge skin color. No. And by the way, these black, supposedly, these black sororities and fraternities were doing that within their own culture. That wasn't not foisted upon them. So even this contextual revisionism doesn't even jive with even the misconstrued potential context that could even be here. Gangbusters. Very successful. Unnecessarily invokes the notion of police action against gangs in a positive. Do you see how they're taking this word, they're dividing it into two words, and then they're artificially creating a context.
Yeah, because I want to use
no one that ever heard the term
that.
gangbusters would ever think of any positive actions of police against gangs. No. Like we're not even thin blue liners, y'all. No. There are good police and there's bad police. All right. And unfortunately, it seems like more of them are bad or good anymore. But I mean, that's just what we're starting to experience. They're not all bad, but
grandfather legacy.
Grandfather. This term has its roots in the grandfather clause, adopted by. No, the term grandfather comes from. You have a father, mm-hmm. and you have a grandfather.
Yeah. Oh my word! They're gonna try to put it in some southern states.
Yeah, it has nothing to. They're
to blacks.
Yeah, they try to weaponize every word and make every. They're obsessed with race.
Oh my word!
They're so obsessed with it, and
they try to make every word about it.
Yeah, it's a weaponization, and they're the psychotics. They're the crazy. They're the mentally ill. They're the idiots.
Yeah.
And they want to control the masses. This is mind control. Mm-hmm. Gray hat hacker. Hacktivist. Hacker who exploits a weakness in cyber defense to bring the weakness to the attention of the owner with the goal of improving security. This term combines black hat and white hat, which both hold racial connotations. That is absolutely some figment of some psychotic, mentally ill person's imagination. It is insane. It's insane. This is so insane.
You're crazy.
Slave. Like your slave cylinder. Don't describe the slave cylinder. This is some crazy junk. And then they got junk on here that nobody even uses.
What's that? White paper.
White paper? Oh. Position paper. You know, there was...
What?
Assigns a value connotations based on color. White equals good. No, I mean, they used to call these different papers, like scientific papers, they used to call them white papers. Largely in part is because they were printed on bright white paper.
Yeah.
There was no cultural appropriation. They're absolutely exclusively assigning race to absolutely everything.
Everything.
It's insane. They're nuts.
Everything.
These people are clinically ill.
Oh, they're
insane.
Super ill.
This is DSM status. Crazy. And look at them. Take all the first. Convict, who is or was incarcerated.
Look at this.
Using person-first language helps to not define people just by one of their characteristics. Well, but if it is your characteristic that you want to emphasize, yeah, he's a convict or he's an ex-con. I mean, you are that. That doesn't exclusively define you, but it's very descriptive, and it's one word, and it simplifies.
Mm-hmm.
This is insane.
Watch this. Yeah, a homeless person.
Oh, homeless person. Person without housing.
Word, y'all.
Using person first. I can't even read this. First off, it's written like mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like made up,
super crazy,
hyphenated words that didn't even exist a year ago. Using person first language.
Just to say that
helps
weird.
to not define people by just one of their characteristics. So, well, there's a million different ways you could go with this, but like if you're a homeless person, you're probably a TV-less person.
Yeah, that's what Jay was saying. Yeah. He went down the whole list. He's like, you should list everything they're without.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, this could take all day.
He's like, oh, yeah, it would take years to read down the list.
Prostitute, person who engages in sex work. Oh, yeah, that's so much more
clear,
kind, and a clearer way of context. Abusive relationship. Relationship with abusive person. This is just doubles. The relationship doesn't commit abuse. A person does. So it's important to make that fact clear. Look, if you talk to a person that's in an abusive relationship, right, they're not going to care whether you say that you're in an abusive relationship or you're in a relationship with an abusive person, because the relationship is the reason why you're being abused. If you weren't in that relationship, you wouldn't be abused. So it's the splitting of hairs, and it's this dragging out, and it's this language control. It is crack the whip, double down, work harder, come down hard.
Beating a dead horse.
A necessary use of violent imagery that paint. If you ever ride a horse, I mean, there's so many analogies to the crack the whip thing. It doesn't have anything to do with authoritarian or oppressive. I mean, there's many reasons to crack the whip, and the cracking of the whip isn't even a violent act. It just makes a noise.
Makes a noise. You're not hitting people or things or anything.
Killing two birds with one stone. This expression normalizes violence against animals. Well, what if you go bird hunting? Right? That's not violence against animals. That's hunting, and there are many hunters that do it in a humane way to feed their family and to control the bird population, which is necessary. Okay? But this expression does not normalize violence. But once again, they see everything through their postmodern, post-truth, clinically insane lens.
More than one way to skin a cat. Multiple ways to accomplish the task. Isn't that what...
This expression normalizes violence against animals. I promise you that anyone that ever used the term more than one way to skin a cat, which I say it all the time, has never... we have a cat. We love our cats.
Yeah, of course.
We've never done
people that say that would not... You're not talking about a cat.
It's a figure of speech that has existed for an incredibly long time. Pull the trigger. Unnecessarily uses violent imagery to encourage another person to do something. You can pull a trigger. Not every trigger's on a gun. You can pull a trigger at the range. You can practice your marksmanship. And it has absolutely nothing to do with violence.
No. Or it could be pulling a pulling the trigger on a purchase or anything. You know, rule of thumb.
Yeah, or pulling a rule of thumb. Although no. Okay, check this out, y'all. Okay, check this out, y'all. Standard rule, general rule. Okay. Although no written record exists today, this phrase is attributed. So they're telling you that their context can't be found anywhere written down, right? So now this is like mid-rock. This is like some kind of oral tradition thing. Although no written record exists today, this phrase is attributed to an old British law that allowed men to beat their wives with sticks no wider than their thumb.
What? What in the world? I didn't even know that, but that's crazy. What in the world? This is so crazy, y'all.
Take a shot at it. Take your best shot at it. Take a stab at it. Give it a go.
They say the same thing.
These terms represent unnecessary use of the imagery of hurting someone or something. This is so insane.
Oh my word.
War Room.
Trigger warning. Yeah.
What about all these different podcasts? War Room.
Yeah.
Unnecessarily use of violent language. They're stinking. Wife beater t-shirt, white rib tank top. Yo, that is a wife beater, and that'll always be a wife beater.
Oh my word, yeah.
This phrase trivializes domestic violence by associating it with a piece of clothing. That is absolutely false. But a white rib tight tank top is absolutely a wife beater, exclusively, and it will always be a wife beater. All right. Okay, how long are we?
I think we've been on here.
This is pretty crazy. All right, stop sharing. So I'll leave this link down below. This is so exclusively insane. This is absolutely 1984 being manifested in real time.
Man beater.
By the institute that brought us the Stanford prison experiment. So you want to do a little research and look up the Stanford prison experiment? Be my guest. But these are most, if not all, of these universities of higher learning, like Johns Hopkins et al., like all of them, are so diabolical, evil, and wicked on the face and in their foundational substructure, which is why they dispense puke like this, puke hyphenated, like not even raw written trash that you can't even read it. You sound stupid just trying to read it. Black guns are typically more violent.
Carlos says, looks like the next time I go to work, we aren't giving out our subs in brown bags anymore.
Oh. And it's so nuts. I mean, they're going to make you go through hoops. Oh, I'm sure that phrase, jump
Hoops.
through hoops.
Oh my word, yeah.
Like, you can't use any figure of speech anymore at all. You just have to talk like, yes, good, super good, super not good.
Super plus good.
Plus good.
Plus
Negative good.
Negative good. That was negative good of me.
It is. Oh, man, it's nuts, y'all. But, so...
Well, they should definitely change the White House, the meaning of the White House, because that's offensive.
Oh, man,
to me.
it's very offensive, but, that's where Joe... Well, I think Joe's, like, in St. Croix or something right now. Joe's on vacation, y'all. I mean, he's got...
Really?
Yeah, he's got a...
Nice.
I think I hope his assistants that change his undergarments and all stuff, I hope they want him. But,
hopefully they won't with him.
Yeah, but, hey, this is a value for value proposition, so if you enjoy our content and you appreciate it, this is a comedy show, so if you got some laughs, please visit our website, www.TheTexasBoys.com, and check out our merch, check out our products, our homestead, home crafted, home blended teas, coffees, candles. What else we got, Matt?
All types of stuff.
All types of good stuff. The food farce in a box is still shipping out. If you need a food farce in a box, pick one up. And we appreciate and love all y'all.
Yeah,
thanks for hanging out.
This is Stanford. They just came out with this. All of their new speak and all their new words that they're going to be using.
It's in the notes down below on both Rumble and YouTube, and
I think somebody's saying, where do we call to like?
oh yeah, feel free to call Stanford.
I guess
but
so.
you're wasting your nickel calling.
The best thing to do is just not use their system and not give them money. You know,
I categorically reject. So you know the best way
just reject it.
To categorically reject their nonsense is I refuse to be manipulated by it. And you're not going to conform the way that I speak, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be, regardless of the Karens and the snowflakes and the transhumanist pink rainbow haired whatever and all the emotionally superficial people that have no skin and have no anything, no grit, no tenacity, nothing to them. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I absolutely don't care. I don't care, because the reason that they have a problem and they're offended is because they buy into the propaganda.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. The only reason that they're hurt and all this stuff is because they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
And they're letting mentally ill, postmodern, post-truth people brainwash them. So that's why, and you should have compassion on them. You should feel sad and sorry and bad for them. I feel very sorry for them, and they are a victim, but they're a victim of their own choosing. Okay, because you can continue to absorb the propaganda, or you can wake up. And we're Christians. We walk in truth, and the Holy Spirit leads us into all truth. So we're not going to walk in darkness, right? And if it helps, start with your Bible. Start with that, right? Read that, learn it, memorize it, and then hold up all these other supposed truths to that. And allow that to be the arbiter of truth. Just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion. But I'm not going to tell anybody what to do.
That's true.
And I ain't listening to Stanford.
No.
Stanford can go pound dirt.
Ooh,
Stanford is a bunch of retards. All right?
That's
Just
true.
saying. They are a bunch of retards. They're idiots. They're morons. They're crazy. They're mentally ill. They're a bunch of spazzes. It's a bunch of spazzes.
All right, y'all. Hope y'all have a good night.